All right, call the meeting in order.
This is all set.
Join me in saluting the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm just going to open this.
Going to make an announcement about the way we're going to, make an announcement about the way we're going to control the meeting. We're going to take public comments at the beginning. We're going to take public comments at the end. The comments should be addressed to the board, and we will not entertain comments during the meeting.
Chair.
Pardon?
Comments addressed to the chair.
All the comments go to the chair. So we're going to do meeting minutes from the 9th.
Make a motion to accept the January 9th minutes as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 16th.
Make a motion to accept the January 16th minutes as drafted.
Second. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, any public comments? Yes, sir, Frank.
The New Hampshire Department of Agriculture, Food and Markets and Food still think that, A, I'm on the Brookfield Agricultural Commission,
Excellent.
and they still think that we have a Brookfield Agricultural Commission.
We still fund it.
And I know we do, and this is to, we have till March 16th that we had any events this year to get into one of their publications. When we used to have Open Farm Day, we used to be in this publication, and I'm the one that's turned it in, that's probably why I got it. The point of this is, I think it would behoove us to, we've got new people in town, and to either at town this the upcoming town coffee, or at town meeting, to see if we can get some interest in potentially reviving the agricultural commission. Even though the budget's only $1, there's still, we can still start doing things and becoming aware of. There are a lot of bills around our agriculture, and currently in the front of the State House, there's some stuff going on, and having a local agricultural commission might not be a bad thing. So that's that one comment.
And we have coffee on Saturday.
I know, but this would be a place maybe to bring it up.
Yep, excellent.
Okay. Second.
Yes, sir.
Unless somebody else has one.
Not yet.
Okay. Second one is, and somewhat related to your topics tonight, but it's also separable. Have the selectmen started any activities or plan to start any activities to look at alternatives to our current municipal contracts? Fire, police, ambulance, and trash. Such as mutual aid, hiring a company to pick up the trash, et cetera, just to see what the alternatives might be.
We discussed that during the summer, and the board felt that we have a reasonable relationship with Wakefield, and that we were not going to open up that discussion at this time.
Okay. Okay.
We did meet with Ms. Collins to talk about the report, and it was a good open discussion. Period.
Okay, and we'll find out more about that this
Period.
evening. Good, thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Rob.
First of all, thank you for making it clear how you're going to run the meeting, because I can make my comment and leave rather than. So, because I've got something else on speed tonight. So, I'm very concerned because my understanding is that our taxes to the school, our local school taxes are going up dramatically. Our amount going to Wakefield is going up dramatically. I have not heard about the county, but it's never gone down. So I'm concerned that, do you know, well, I know it's comment, but do you know what the percent, if we had like our operating budget level or so with last year, how much our taxes, what our tax rate would likely be? Do we have any idea how much it's going up if we don't do something?
I saw the school board's going up 4%, their budget is up 4%.
Right, but our piece of it is going up.
And
A lot.
until we know what happens to the value of the property in town, it's hard to make that call. Last year, we added $1 million to that ratio. You distribute based upon total assessed value, it went up $1 million. So we don't
Right.
have visibility.
But our number of students has gone up dramatically, right?
We won't know that until this month, soon. January, February, we find out what the head count was in October. They give us a list to scrub, and I think it's right about this time. That we'll get a list and we'll give visibility to the head count.
Okay.
I really don't know.
What I had thought that I heard was that we were gonna be going up $300,000 a year, was the guesstimate
On what?
for the school.
I have no.
Okay, so anyway, with that as the context for my thoughts, if I mean, I don't know how much Wakefield went up. 70,000? And if school's going up 300,000, if that is in the right ballpark, I don't know if it is. I'm concerned that if we just raise taxes, that you're gonna have people in town not being able to pay their taxes. It's already a problem. Our taxes, I think most people think our taxes are already pretty high. And my concern is that we're just gonna see people not be able to pay their taxes. Our revenues are actually gonna go down. You have to pay, you raise everyone else's taxes to make up for it. You're gonna be deeding properties. It's a vicious cycle, right? And so I would urge you guys to look at what it would look like if, at least for this year, we cut our operating budget, which is the only thing we have for reasonable control over, to the bare minimum. And what I mean by that is no road project, no putting money into capital reserve funds, no painting or roofing or whatever, no fire trucks, everything that's discretionary that could be put off for a year, put it off, right? Or put them in the budget that goes to town meeting as $1. Maybe even go with a set of proposed amendments, wording and amounts. But write the budget as if we want to keep taxes as close to level as possible. I don't think we have enough that we can cut, that we could do that and keep the town running. But, and let the people at town meeting decide, make it, propose not taking people's property away from them because of not being able to pay their taxes. If the town still wants to vote the spending higher, that's their prerogative, And I think that if the terrifying rumors that I've been hearing are true, right, I think that, it would be really bad for a lot of people in town. And I'm not saying this for me personally, because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to pay my taxes even if they went up 20 or 30%, right? I'm not saying that it's me, but I think it's gonna be hard for people to stand up at town meeting and say, I'm not gonna be able to pay my taxes if we vote this budget in. So anyway, I'm concerned. I would suggest that you guys, at least for this year, cut the budget to the bare minimum. If at town meeting somebody wants to amend it, they can. That's the process. But put off road projects, put off the bridge, put off, whatever we can. And I know that would mean Bryce Drive stays the way it is for another year. And I know that some of these things wouldn't be popular with some people in town, but having people lose their properties or not being able to, having to decide whether they want to eat or heat their house or pay their taxes, those aren't, good things to force on people. So,
Okay, thank you.
my 2 cents.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, Ed?
You interested in the Ag Commission? On that note, I just want to make sure everybody's aware, that February 3rd is the deliberative session down in Kingswood Art Center for the school budget. Very rarely does anybody ever go to these deliberative sessions. What Rob Collins said should be said at the meeting. People should be aware that these hikes in the tax rate that affect us and do not affect Wolfboro, it needs to be said out loudly. Because I don't know how we're going to be able to control it if the people don't come out and say something about it, so.
Okay, thank you.
I've been to, a few years ago, 10, 15 years ago,
To the board.
I've attended the school board deliberative sessions once or twice, and it was my impression, at least at that time, that they didn't really, it seemed to be a waste of time. That maybe not, maybe things have changed, but they seemed to be, by the time they got to the deliberative session, they'd already made their decision, so that was just a personal comment.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay, thank you. We're gonna go into the treasurer's report. Are you ready?
Sure. So, this time of year, we have quite a bit of money in the bank, just the usual selectmen's report for the meeting tonight. I did meet with the auditor yesterday, and we reviewed the year-end numbers for December 31st, 2017, and everything looks pretty good. We're making good progress on finishing up the year and getting the reports out, so that should be good. The payroll quarterly reports for December 31st, 2017 are done and will be mailed tomorrow. W-2s are here, so I'll pass those out or leave them for everyone. And 1099s, I just have a couple numbers to get, and then those will be out. So pretty on track for trying to get work done for the year end.
We have an opportunity to go over our proposed budget with the accountant.
I did yesterday. And he was fine with the way it's presented. This is a cash-based worksheet, and that's an important thing for everyone to remember, because when you're going to look at the year-end numbers, this year we chose to, for all of the reports, go to a modified accrual system. So when you see these numbers, these will not be the numbers that you see on some of the final reports in the town, in the annual town report, so.
Wow, so say that a little differently. So we get a working budget that shows where we stand financially with the cash.
Financially, and this will be in the town report with cash, but when we do the year-end entries, as far as the state is concerned, and as far as some of the reports that will be in the town report, they will be on a modified accrual basis system. The example I'll give you is property taxes. So on this spreadsheet, you see property taxes and you see the cash that we've gotten in, and the land use change tax money we've gotten in. When you see that number as far as profit and loss and some of the other reports for the year end, it will only be the amount of the original warrants, not the amount we necessarily collected in cash.
Let me think about it.
Okay.
So we're gonna see the tax bill number,
The tax bill number,
not what we actually took in.
not what we actually took in.
So we're gonna carry an IOU line, and
A
that's
receivable line,
an receivable.
and yes, and it will be in the reports. So we currently have for property tax receivable at the end of the year, 138,000 approximately. And then in tax liens, about 67,000. But the other thing that it gave us was a little bit, teeny bit more income, because we had some timber tax, gravel tax, and land use change tax money that hadn't been recorded. So,
Okay. Another question that we had last meeting had to do with how we show in and outs. And the example
Yep.
was the Conservation Commission may be spending money,
yep,
we put the 5,000 in, but we were gonna offset that with money out of the trust fund.
Right.
And there was some confusion on my mind how we show that.
Right, so the way that it is currently shown on this spreadsheet that you have tonight is fine as far as the auditor is concerned, and he feels it will be fine with the state. The two lines that were in question was the money that we actually spent on the Moose Mountain Bridge repair for the engineering portion, and the money that the town received from the state for highway block grant money that was a one-time donation. Money that we received from the state for the block grant was approximately $28,000, and the selectmen had a motion in one of their meetings, and I don't remember the date, but we could look it up, to send that money to the trust to be put into the trust funds for next year. So those are the only two things that the auditor felt could be a little iffy, could have been done differently, but it should be fine and acceptable the way it is on our spreadsheet.
So we're gonna show the 5,000 as an expenditure,
Yep,
and we're gonna show the 5,000 as
income,
income.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Tax collector? Or do anything?
Just that I'm working on the annual report. I'm still waiting for some submissions to come in. I've started plugging information in.
You need help yet?
Not yet.
I'm not gonna write them, but we can call, we can make phone calls.
Thank you.
Planning board?
Planning board is working on the questionnaire to go out to the town for the master plan. Correct, thank you.
Okay. Ed, code enforcement?
Not as busy as it has been in that department. I'm actually working on one permit for a major renovation, and then I'm doing an occupancy permit inspection tomorrow.
You heard some of Rob's comments, and the challenge we have is trying to figure out what's happening to the valuation of property in town. It's a snapshot on April 1st. Last year, we had $1 million. You went up to $93 million.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of activity this past summer that we're gonna see in April?
I think, yeah, some of that you'll see in April. I mean, for us, there was a significant increase. But, you know, that can be one house and one major project.
A couple of
You know
big
what I
houses,
mean?
Couple of big houses.
Yeah, and we, you know, we actually have, well, I'm doing an occupancy permit tomorrow. But, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sizable projects that are underway.
Okay.
So that's huge for us.
Yes, and we have some current use changes.
Current use changes, there's gonna be more coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good, that gives me a feel for it.
Yep.
How are the roads? Anything exciting?
Tonight, they're terrible. But they're gonna get better fast. So, nothing really new other than just trying to stay on top of the ice,
Okay.
unless you have something for me.
Anyway, not really. I don't think so. No. Conservation Commission meets next week.
Next week, yeah.
Heritage Commission,
Not meeting this month.
not meeting February?
You don't know that yet.
Okay.
We'll see
Okay.
what the weather's like.
Cemetery trustees, there was a meeting. They just worked on their bylaws, dealing with some
Yeah,
of the
that was a
bylaws.
meeting, they worked on the bylaws and they discussed a little more about the memorial. They sent out a acceptance to a proposal to do the 30-foot half circle.
That's right, I remember. And they changed the process with respect to accepting money for grades. We are in the process of doing that.
We are in the process of doing that.
Instead of going to the trustees of the trust funds, they're gonna go to Mary Lou, the trust, as the treasurer, and then you will write a check at the end of the year.
Right. That process seemed fine with the auditor when I spoke to him yesterday about it. His only question was that I should check with DRA just to make sure it's okay with them. And I will call Michelle Clark and ask her the question.
Okay. Any other boards or committees? Okay, let's take a look at that working draft budget, I think, in anticipation of the public hearing next Tuesday. We got some we're not gonna go through the entire budget. Let's, we had some open items.
Yes, so I did hear from Meals on Wheels. They sent in their numbers. So in this last, in 2017, they delivered 688 meals to residents in the town of Brookfield. They asked for town funding from Wolfboro. They get $7,500 from Tuftonboro, $2,500, and they asked for $1,000 from Brookfield because of the people, those are the three towns that they serve out of the Wolfboro office. So if you want to look.
I believe you. That's okay.
So then the question would be, do we want to continue to give them the $1,000? We did not give it to them this year because they didn't get a request in time. 20, I should say, for 2017, we didn't fund them.
And that was on, that's towards the end,
That's-
towards the end.
Yep, it's on, it's 4415 is the number.
Page 8 and 9 are all the Meals on Wheels and VNAs and stuff.
Yeah, you have a copy of the budget? I gave you one.
I can make you one.
I handed you one.
Oh. Sitting behind the warrants.
Thank you.
So it's on page 9 of 11, and it's at the top of the page. Meals on Wheels. We currently have $1 in the line, they've asked for 1,000.
What do you think? I mean, we heard Rob's, I don't know where he got his numbers from, to be honest with you.
It's, 1,000 is not a lot of money, but in line with what Rob was talking about. I think we just put it down with $1, let the town decide if they want to donate the money out of our taxes, or maybe there's something else in mind.
Ron, what'd you take?
So far, so our charitable contributions right now are $1,859 plus $6,000. So we're talking 70
What's the 6 for?
Tri-County Cap and Wakefield Food Pantry.
It's down a couple.
Yep, I see it.
Yep.
We're not getting hit for the medication bridge.
Nope, they did nothing. They don't want anything.
Right. So I'd be fine with going 1,000 on that.
All right, we'll come back to it. Now, Wolfboro Park and Rec, that's $1.
I have not heard back. I emailed her the day after the meeting.
Okay, let's talk about Gaffney Library. They want 14,000. See, I guess this is our budget, our proposed budget, so we have to make our recommendations, and if we want help deciding on some tough areas, we can ask the town to do that. We've done that in the past by putting one in there. We've had experience with that in the past. We might be able to predict how it's going to go, but it would be fair if that's our feeling, that we think the budget's going up. We know the budget's going up. We don't know what's going to happen to the tax rate because we don't know the other variables. Don't understand. Don't have the data yet. So we could put some ones in here with some asterisks where we say we think it's up to the town as to whether they want to spend the money.
Well, this is what happens when political subdivisions just have the ability to throw a bill at us and raise our taxes. We have no control over that whatsoever. So what do we end up doing? We end up looking at little chicken scratch that we have, Meals on Wheels, libraries, stuff like that. We're knocking them down to $1. But I think it's the town's call.
Yeah, for planning purposes.
We're all in this together. I mean, we're getting whacked with big increases from the schools and for public safety. So who are we to sit here and spend money?
Yeah, the impact is about, for planning purposes, $100,000 worth of expenditures is equal to $1 on our tax rate. That's a good ballpark number.
Yeah, that's what we use.
So,
And with the school increases, public safety increases,
do you know, I don't know the school's going up.
that number was floated around when Bernie was talking with us. The 4% comes out to roughly, it's very close to what Robert said, I think about 280,000.
Is that, so that's recent, I missed that.
Yeah.
300,000 without an increase in, well, we don't know about the student count yet. Do we? Maybe he does.
So between that and the public safety, we're looking at about 360,000. That's $3.60 of the tax rate.
Exactly right.
And when I moved here, the tax rate was about 13. It's over 20 now. And if we just keep spending, business as usual, working on roads and doing all the things we have to do, and we get hit with all these outside things we can't control, we're on our way to being a $30 a thousand town, and they're out there.
Now, I want to argue the other side.
Yeah,
We got a responsibility to keep the town safe and maintain the property.
right.
And if we take Ra's proposal and cut everything to zero, it doesn't solve the problem, it pushes the problem down the road here.
It does, that's right. That's a good question. What happens next year?
So, I mean, what we have to wrestle with is where do we want to spend the town's money to invest in our facilities, including the roads? And if we don't, we should take the stuff down.
Well, we're at a crossroads. It's gonna hurt. Does the town, I don't know, a lot of people don't come to these meetings. Does the town wanna spend this money? Fine, I'll go along with it. Or maybe the town wants to draw a line. Okay.
Now, in the past, we've talked about some of these items at the town meeting. And interesting. We could highlight them, what we think might be optional. If we want to do that. Brian, your comments?
I agree. We're at the point now that our operating budget stays relatively stagnant, but we're getting bombarded by two major agencies that we have no control of. So we take Rob's suggestion, it kicks the can down the road, doesn't solve any problems, and actually you could argue it could further allow for depreciation of the town's property because roads deteriorate, town property goes down. It doesn't solve the problem. And I appreciate what you're saying, we don't want to start deeding properties, but we're still a town. We need to be able to operate and maintain safe roadways, public safety, keep the property up and going. You know, could we argue that some of the more, some of the items like forestry, the townhouse, stuff like that, where we could say we could cut those things down. I could definitely argue that we could do that for a year, but again, it's not gonna solve the problem. You know, we have road projects, we have Bryce, I think we have an obligation to get that thing done.
We're right in the middle of it.
You know, I think but do we say we're not gonna do the other big road project? Yeah, we could. We get the Moose Mountain Bridge.
We could, you know, I'm
To
sorry.
Moose Mountain, wait a year, to the Pike Brook wait a year.
It all the way to you,
Right.
but it doesn't solve a problem. It just pushes it down.
No, it doesn't, but it brings the problem to the surface, it makes people think about it. We're at this crossroads.
They think about it, in my opinion, we'll spend the money in March at the town meeting. And then we complain about it in September when the roads aren't done. There's no coupling between the spending and the authorization. Why can't we get this done? And the only time we talk this way in public is budget time. You won't hear anybody else say we're spending too much money the rest of the year. We're not getting it done. Why aren't we getting it done? So, that's just editorial.
Right. But it's, I think it has to be addressed, it has to be addressed as a town.
Well, we don't have a lot of time to do this. We have to present this next Tuesday. And the reason we put $1 in is so we can fund it at town meeting. And I think your bias was, or sensed it was, when it was $1,800, leave it in.
Yeah. And then at the town, at the hearing next week, people can weigh in. And then at town meeting, people don't want something, that's where you cut it out. I would rather work backwards than have to work forwards in a budget. Putting everything down to $1, then have everyone weigh in on what they think we should put in, it's gonna become complicated. If people wanna slash the budget, it's easier than try to rebuild the budget at town meeting. I understand Rob's suggestion, and I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know if I agree with it, but I think at the town meeting, it'd be easier to slash money than it is to rebuild the budget right at the town meeting.
Well, perhaps the majority of the town has no problem going up $3.70 on the tax bill. Maybe that's still a bargain to some people. I'd like to know which way people want to go.
And again, what we can do on the operating budget is gonna be, it's gonna be a really marginal impact on the overall tax rate.
Right.
If we can whack $100,000 off this budget, which I think is very doable, we can take the tax rate down $1. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be down $1, but in the end, who suffers?
Yeah, the question we're gonna get, I'm not taking any questions. The question we're gonna get is, what's the impact on the tax rate, right? Right, that's what they're gonna say. And I don't know how to quantify that. It's assessed value and expenditures.
When do we see that
Assessed
that
value.
increase from the school, and when do we see that assessment?
Well, you heard it, you've seen it, I haven't seen the school, I guess. When did
Well, that was something that was supposed to come down in December.
I didn't see it.
We were just hearing the talk of it, but we
We had rumors, I just heard Rob talk about the rumors, but I haven't.
So if we haven't seen a $270,000 hit from them, what do we assume that's not coming?
Last year, we picked up 20 students. That's why it went up so much last year. I don't know what the increase is. You know, the budget's going up 4%, that was in the newspaper.
Plus the increase of kids.
And I don't know what it is. I have no idea. We'll know soon. We'll know before you.
How many kids dropped off, how many kids added?
That's right.
You know, I can attest to one that dropped off, you know, my own son. So he's, you know, so it's always a give and take with kids, but out of Brookfield, I think there was only 2 graduating. Right, I think 2 or 3 graduated last year. You know, did any kids move, you know, leave the school system? I don't know. And then how many came in?
All right, we don't know. So how about we do this? I like Brian's idea. Let's highlight the numbers that we think we could,
Discuss at the meeting.
good word, discuss at the meeting.
Okay.
But we'll put the number in, and then if we discuss it, we're going down, not up.
Okay.
All right? So let's quickly go through this and see what we're going to talk about. We put an asterisk next to it, and we just point out that we think we'd like some guidance from the town.
So we're starting on 4415 health agencies?
I was going to start on number 3, page 3.
Okay.
The expenses. I have one other item I'd like to mention. And that's about going from Fairpoint to Spectrum for the town offices. So we currently spend with Fairpoint $505 a year. The town clerk no longer has, what am I thinking, DSL, is it? I don't know. No, we have DSL.
She no longer has the cable.
No longer has cable. So if the town was going to now pay for cable, it would go up to $719.86, an increase of $214 per year. It's just something to think about. And the only other fee in addition to that was $100 set up for, and that included a new modem.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to let's go to page 4, unless somebody wants to stop real fast.
Proposed budget for the school is posted on our website.
But it doesn't break it down by,
No, it gives a total percentage.
because
It's in the
the
paper.
total percentage is an increase of 3.81%.
Okay.
Yeah, but we've known it's going up 4%.
I
That's
said
not.
4%, it's going to be 3.98, okay.
Yeah,
Come on.
we've known the 4%, and we know the impact there, but it's the student population that we know is really gonna hit us,
Yep.
if it's gonna hit us. Do we wanna bring our legal expenses down?
We know that if we don't spend it, it reduces the taxes the following year.
I understand.
So we don't have to, it just gives us the possibility or the authorization to, so I'd leave it.
Good. The point under is the flexibility.
Now, the revaluation's going to go up next year. So, you know, it's down this year, but next year it goes up. Okay. Planning board's down a little. Zoning board's flat. Cleaning. So Mary Lou, on page 6,
Yep,
repairs to building and grounds.
yep. You wanna know what's in it?
Well, no, we have 2,000 in there.
Yes?
We were gonna try to put a warrant article in to fund the trust fund, an expressible trust fund.
Right.
Do we have to put the expenditure in here also? That question was raised, right?
That question was raised, I have it out here in my notes to the side.
If we wanna spend
That
it,
Brian was to ask Laura.
okay,
Because I have $8,000, so the total should be 10,000 if we're actually spending it.
that's the question we were asking. If we're gonna show
Yeah.
expenditures,
Yep,
so I think we gotta put 10 in there and make it a total of 10. And if we hear from Laura that that's not right, we can bring it down.
I'll do it.
So that makes that up a little.
$27,050.
All right, so make sure I get this straight. If we're gonna show an expenditure, does it need to be reflected in the operating proposed budget?
And a piece of it is the 8,000 was the roof that didn't get done.
But it's a good.
But it's
general-
also, yeah, it's
It's
a general question. Yep,
If we're expecting to spend some money, we've got the line item, so you don't say we can move money to it, but the question is, should we put what we think we're gonna spend in there? Good answer, Laura.
Because right now we have the money, that money would be coming out of
A trust fund.
the trust fund.
trust fund.
But if we're gonna spend it, the question is, you understand?
Yep. Just make sure, I just wanna make sure I ask this right, because we don't have time to play with it. Other trust funds. Yeah, I meant to ask that, but I was wrapped up with the warrants. Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Do we wanna spend as much on archiving? There's not much in there. We have all kinds of good,
It's his, working with
The two-
two new people
Because it's a
training.
training process,
And we-
and Craig's eventually wants to bow out of that.
and we've got all this good stuff that we're not really taking care of.
Well, that's a transfer of knowledge.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be
Yeah.
here forever.
that's right.
Yeah, he's already expressed that he's
Yep.
not here forever, so.
So we got the numbers from Wakefield for fire and ambulance. That's the new number, the correct number?
Yes.
And
And
if-
I'm not sure I brought the spreadsheet, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But we
As long as
know the
number's
number.
here.
What do you got?
29 grand?
290,000.
That's just for fire and ambulance.
Okay, okay,
Just fire, there's another one coming.
okay, got it.
And the forestry already,
We slashed that.
the only thing we left was forest wardens and a truck.
I don't think we can do much more there. It's-
Now, we should ask the town what they want to do with that. That's one
What, you
that.
want to asterisk that whole line,
Yep.
the whole section of it's there, right?
Do we want to put numbers in there and then take it down, or do we want to leave ones, or what's our recommendation?
I recommend leaving the ones, to leave it open for discussion.
Okay, I'm good with that too.
That's what we think it should be one.
The emergency management thing, do we need to do that? I know we get the money back, but we're spending the money in front. It then impacts the tax rate.
I don't know if it does, because we show it as income. We show it on the front.
We show it in front as income?
Yeah. It's like an in and out.
Or-
Oh, I only put the conservation money in.
Yeah, we should-
I should add that.
Yeah, I thought you did, Mary Lou.
I thought I did too. I'll add it.
All right, so it doesn't impact the rate, then it's no reason to.
Oh, wait a minute.
would you-
I added it up under other state grant line 3359, there's 5,000 there, I added
Okay,
it
so that's where it
there.
is.
Other state grant and reimbursement.
All right, so we've already counted that
I
income.
counted it as income.
All right, there's nothing to do with that.
We talked about, we cut the highways and streets last week, down to what it was this year.
Yeah.
We got the number for sanitation.
From Wentworth, yeah.
Health agencies. We want to asterisk these,
I would asterisk those because it's,
not big bucks.
but it's up to the town if they want to. Fund them, right?
Yep. Including, okay, keep going down.
All right, do you want to leave Meals on Wheels at the dollar or put it up to the 1,000 they're asking for?
I would put it to the 1,000, so at least we know the talking point. If people want to knock those out or keep them, no?
Yep, that's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Welfare's, we'll leave it alone.
What's medication bridge at 0?
Yeah, they
That's
asked for
zero,
zero.
they didn't need money
They-
this
they
year,
came-
they,
Don't be shocked, they came and said we don't need any money. Huh?
It's rarity.
They want to travel to school.
Tri-county cap, we know what that is. Wait for food pantry, we put asterisks on these.
Yeah.
And then we go down to Wolfboro, we got $1 there. Should we put a number in there, our best guess?
We could use this year's number.
Well, the paper said it was going up.
I know, but we
We don't know what.
we'd be guessing, complete guessing.
So what are you gonna put, 5,000?
I was, you could say just use the 4216.
Is that what it was? 4260, oh, sorry, right there. 40, yeah, sorry, 4216. And with an asterisk. The library,
Asterisks. In the forest management plan, we have that coming out of a trust, right?
yes.
if we do it, it's coming out, it's in and out.
Okay.
That's fine.
Land purchase, we don't have stagnant.
3 out of, this is 3 out
This will
of.
be the third year
Third out of
of
seven.
7.
Let's get rid of that.
Okay. We're taking nothing out for equipment, we're taking nothing out for property revaluation. Townhouse repair, we might take 30 out. And forest fire equipment, we're taking nothing out. $1 million. Okay. So we're gonna go one, yes, sir, go ahead.
Capital reserves,
Transfer.
town garage and storage shed.
We're not putting anything in, are we?
5,000 in for the town garage and storage shed.
Yeah, but that's by warrant, right? Yep.
Yes, it's currently a warrant article.
Okay.
So that's gonna force the discussion one way or the other.
Then
All right. This is what we're gonna go with next week. Next,
So the new bottom line number is $1,031. Well, that's not true. $1,031,879.
so for Lori, for next Tuesday, we'll need copies of this to hand out.
I will email it, a PDF of it to you tonight.
what's the bottom again? 1 million?
$1,031,879.
And we're gonna have to go over to warrant articles?
Quick, I'll take one.
Okay, go ahead. Are they here? Do we,
You want me to go or you want me
you do.
to? Okay. All right, I'll start from number 2 down. So,
We have no petition warrant articles. We have no planning board warrant articles. Okay.
right. All right, so number 2, we want to raise the sum of $20,000 to be deposited into the Moose Mountain Capital Reserve Fund. So that's $20,000 going towards the bridge, right?
Bridge, that's.
And it's gonna get us close to the number.
Bridge.
Is that
Well, that's the problem.
appropriate, is that coming out of a trust or?
It goes in.
New
Going
tax?
in.
We're just appropriating that to that.
So it's new tax.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna raise that. That goes into the savings account.
Okay.
All right.
You know what,
Wait, Brian.
Oh, the numbers up?
nope, got it,
Oops, I didn't change those.
I know,
I was very
sorry.
careful.
I know, we're good.
So number 3, we're gonna vote to appropriate the sum of $16,750 for the fund the balance of the engineering for the Moose Mountain Bridge.
That's money we already have?
Well, that's the way we do it. We're putting 20,000 in, taking 16,700 out.
Because we're gonna be withdrawing the sum from the capital reserve fund, so we'll end
And
up
we've
with
got
a,
about 80,000 in there.
we'll
now.
leave another, yeah.
So
Okay,
it's-
so these two are hooked together, 2
Yeah.
and 3.
All right, then we got the 2 for the roads, the 80,000 in, 80,000 out for, this guy's a road. Laura did raise a question, she goes, if you're gonna spend it, why are you gonna do it? My response was, if we don't get to the full amount of the road projects, we build a capital reserve for the roads, so it's not,
It's not a waste.
yeah, it's not a waste. While it looks like we're just putting money in and out, I said if we don't get to a road project or we get stalled somewhere, at least the money's there for when the road project will get done. I think she probably just rolled her eyes and stuff.
Go ahead. 6.
So 6, we just got the 500 for the conservation fund. We continue to build their trust account, 500 for the heritage fund account.
And on number 6, we should get a handle on whether we're gonna take some money, whether the Conservation Commission is gonna recommend taking money out to do that forest management plan. So we'll have an answer
Right.
by town meeting on that.
And
What the
are
recommendation-
we, I'm trying to remember if we're agents to expend the money? Yeah, right. I thought we did it with most of those, right? I mean, all right, number 8 is to raise and appropriate the sum of $30,000 to be deposited at the townhouse capital reserve fund. So that would be going towards the townhouse for either repairs to be done this year or for next year.
And that's new tax as well, right?
That is. Number 9, I think we finally have ironed out this veterans tax credit. I originally had it separated. Laura said, no, here. She gave me the exact language and I just cut and pasted in. So
Good job.
this should be approved by DRA finally.
Bottom line is we're increasing the participation
Mhm.
to people that served, I think served, period, with 90 days or more. And the credits go on from 100 to 250, so that impacts your taxes too. We had questions in the past, how broad is the participation and what's the impact on my tax rate? Because veterans get it, but some other people make it up. Okay.
All right. In order to not have to raise these funds, we are looking to to repurpose the town building ground maintenance capital reserve fund to the town property building common maintenance capital reserve fund, and further to designate the selectmen as the agents to expend. That requires a 2/3 vote. Alrighty, $5,000 to be deposited into the town garage and storage shed capital reserve fund. And then this final number at the end is the overall budget, but
I'll give it to you. 199,128.
Done.
799,128.
Yep.
Thank you.
So,
So every time this says raise and appropriate, that means we're asking the town to pay more money.
generally, that's yes. Yes.
So yes, just a quick question. I just
So how
want,
much was the number? Would you just,
799,128.
we're raising that kind of, no, what's the total warrants?
No,
Oh, I
that
didn't-
doesn't include the warrant articles.
What-
Oh, for just the warrant articles?
If you don't know, that's fine.
I do know.
It looks like it's about 200,000.
well, at least,
Yeah,
little over.
96 and 135,
oh, the 80s.
about 200,000.
The 8
Yeah,
house
about
double the 80. So I just want
Town
clarification.
increase.
It's half
I
of
think
our,
that's an raise and appropriate.
All right, so on number 2, I'm gonna be revising that to say raise and appropriate the sum of 20,000.
And then number 3 is, that's those are the only two, I think.
All right, so it's gonna be raise and appropriate on number 2 and 3, okay?
Those would be the only changes.
And you just made a comment, I'm sorry, say it again.
Oh, no, so the total of warrants about 200K.
Yes.
I said that's almost half of our uncontrolled increase.
Say that differently, because a lot of these are steady year after year because we're funding the bank account. So these are not all increases, they're.
Okay, so these aren't new tax, this isn't new tax,
We-
200,000?
We're gonna raise it through taxes.
Yeah,
For example, I said, I think we had 20,000 in there last year for this fund. So the change is 0 between what we raised last year and this year. It's not new taxes. Okay?
But what Rick's saying is we are gonna have to get this $20,000 through the means of taxation.
Yes,
that's what Rick's saying.
yes, yes,
Right,
yes,
is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes. We're gonna have to have a quick meeting on Saturday at our coffee to make a motion to present these as our approved warrant articles and budget for the hearing. So would you post that? A brief meeting at our coffee, just to make a motion to, after we see the final copies, make a motion to say these are our official documents, planning, budget and warrants.
Okay, what time do you want to schedule it for?
9:30. Public wants 9:30. Okay. Town report review team.
He's gonna put up a sign tomorrow.
Yes.
What time do you wanna meet? You wanna do it
Well,
Oh,
the
the
sign, the sign's ready to go. The sign's ready to go. It says breakfast at 8 to 10, Saturday. It's generic. Coffee is generic. We'll just drag that sucker out.
at? Yeah.
We're not gonna
That's
chain,
fine.
we're not gonna chain it up. So now we're vulnerable.
So it's up for grabs.
We'll get it changed.
Changed.
No.
Well, I mean, not before this time.
Okay. So,
We'll get the new stuff put on.
town report. In the past, we've had a group of people in town that have proofread the town report. After it's all put together, they sit down and they go over it and make sure we have things that are correct.
We think.
The best we can do.
Is that team still in place?
So that's where we're going. That's exactly what we're asking. Do you think we have that team, Glory? Do you think, or should we try to get new people, different people, or whatever?
So I have reached out to Harriet,
Yes?
and she agrees to continue for this
Okay.
year. I sent her all the articles that I have to date, and she's currently reviewing them.
Yes, Harriet Wilson.
I spoke with Rose, and she's also to be, she's willing to help as much as needed.
Okay.
And I did hear that there was someone else that was interested in participating, but I'm not sure on what level, so I need to reach out there.
You're gonna do that?
Mhm.
Sounds like you're under control. Good. Okay, the other issue that came up recently, and this is new to you guys, is the need for an office scanner. More and more of our transactions are not faxes, but scan it and email it. And we really can't do that very well. It's like pulling teeth to get it done. Huh?
No.
There's a lot of devices around here that do that. Trust me.
Oh, I know.
So the question is, do we want to authorize, and I went to Staples and got some ballpark numbers. We're talking less than $300.
I'll say $100 gets you a decent.
You know what, I just bought one for at home. since
I got one home.
I retired and don't have the,
Bring it in. It doesn't work. It's not even, yeah, well, go ahead.
so, yes, the new one I got is really slick, nice.
Wireless.
Yes.
They all are. So do we want to ask Lance to look into it? Come back with an idea of what it might cost?
Yeah, because I'd rather have Lance do
Yep.
it, because if we get something, it may not sync or
Yep.
whatever the hell.
Yep.
There's always
Yep.
issues with stuff like that. I'm fine with, yes.
Asking for him to make a recommendation.
You know, ballpark figure.
Yeah. If I can find my receipt, I can tell you what I spent. And it's actually a color, well, we may not want to go there, but it's a color printer scanner. Oh, your little eyes lit up, I could just see. And yeah, so, and it wasn't that expensive, and it, you know what, it really is nice, works slick.
Because
So,
the only thing I knew that I could scan was that printer in there.
great.
I know Jessica showed me, it's not really user-friendly, but it's doable.
That's the problem if it's a multi-page document. It's running from my office to there to
That's
change
what
the
I
page,
remember.
back to my office to tell it what to do, back to that office.
That's
to
what I
change
thought,
the
there
page.
was a problem with
It's
that.
really ridiculous.
I think
So
we-
mine has a, like the copier has a page feed mechanism on the top of it, and
Yeah,
it,
that wasn't.
And you need the correct software to
Yes.
make use of those multiple page documents.
yes,
So it comes with.
and it has that, and mine has that.
Yeah, you just have to make sure you use the right software. Yes, it's more than just the hardware, you need the software behind it.
It'll come with the hardware.
It will come with it.
It comes with it, yeah.
You just have to install it, make sure everybody can use it.
Right.
Okay,
Ought to be fun.
we have, this is our mail.
That's it. And then
Oh,
there's some
I have
bills.
bills and checks and la-di-da.
Yes. All right, we'll take public comments now. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm sorry I was late, had trouble getting out of my driveway, so I missed what Rob had said. Could somebody just briefly recap?
Taxes are going up, cut everything.
You guys wants to put the budget down to $1 wherever discretionary spending is done, and then let the town see if they want to put money back on.
Cut roads, cut everything.
Not $1 for roads, so.
Yes.
That's,
That what, you asked what he said. He said, cut everything.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Also, he mentioned taxes going up, people not being able to pay their taxes would cause people that pay their taxes to pay more. So raising taxes, we end up with less revenue.
I don't agree with that, but that's okay. That's what he said.
Well, technically, oh, that's what he said.
That's what he said. We don't lose the tax dollars. We never lose the tax dollars. We'll deed the property. I'm telling you, I don't know.
I get it.
Okay. So your comment is?
So, a couple more comments. Another question. The updated Wakefield spreadsheet, is that available? The new worksheet that was revised?
Yes, we have it. I don't know.
Because
Yes, we'll give you a copy.
okay, I'd appreciate that, because when I played with the numbers using the template that I had, and what appeared to happen was, unlike in previous intergovernmental worksheets, where Teresa had actually used the full ratio of the population relationship between the communities, in this particular case, it was rounded up to like maybe a 1 decimal point, and it caused the number to go up because it got rounded up. So small point, but just FYI. I did, in looking through some material, because I'm thinking about submitting a petition warrant article, and I checked with DRA, I did find that they had posted last January what they consider to be the acceptable language for that veterans warrant article. So I thought that I might leave that with you to add to your, just FYI.
okay. Because I did have council look at it, so I'll try to match it up and see if it looks.
DRA is much simpler,
Okay,
and it separates out the cost.
okay.
This warrant article that you've created has both cost and the new program.
And the new, and that's what, I try to separate the two, but she said it's easy to combine them. So I'll take a look and see if this works
Well,
better.
just FYI.
No, I appreciate it, thank you.
The last thing that I noticed, because I was trying to get a handle on the various capital reserve funds and expendable trusts, one is a question, because it seems as though the terminology has shifted that people are calling things expendable trusts, but when I looked in last year's town report, most of the things that you have, folks here have been calling, and even in your warrant article, call an expendable trust, at least from what I saw in the town report from the trustees of the trust funds, was that they were capital reserve funds, not expendable trusts. So, and the other thing that really concerned me is that, and I remember this happening a couple of years ago, I think it was 2016, where there was a shift of a capital reserve fund. It was the town truck maintenance fund that got
Renamed,
recharacterized as the Moose Mountain Bridge Fund Part 2. And you folks have only referenced in your current warrant articles one Moose Mountain Bridge Fund. And there really are two.
So,
It wasn't changed in last year's town report in the trustees of the trust fund report. It still said town maintenance because the change hadn't gone through.
I understand.
So I don't know which fund you guys were planning to take that out of, and I think that might be an issue later on.
Okay.
Thank you.
I went to the trustee of the trust fund meeting about a month ago and highlighted to them that I was a little confused with the names on the trust funds. And Richard indicated he would do a review of those and try to clean them up, because I said, I'm confused, per our discussions, I can't put my name on the right fund. And he said he was gonna do that, and he sent some email out tonight trying to correct that, and asking for us to take a look at it. So hopefully that's been tightened up. Okay, anything else? Yes, Frank?
Question of order for the budget hearing next Tuesday. Are you going to entertain comments on a line-by-line basis?
Absolutely.
We're going to go through this like we
Absolutely.
normally do. Okay, fine.
We're only gonna talk the budget and the warrant articles, the spending warrant articles, but absolutely, line by line.
And second one, on the warrant articles, are you going to put, recommended by selectmen or not recommended by selectmen like we usually do?
We stopped doing that 2 years ago. The last year, we put it in on a few of them.
Yeah.
When I talked to council on it, she said it's not necessary. We speak to them at the meeting, so.
Historically, it was always done, but.
Well, not for the year before last.
Well,
If it's a petition one, we'll comment on it, I can assure you.
okay.
But if it's there, we put it there. And that's why we have to have that meeting on Saturday to make that official.
Good, thank you.
Any other comments?
Oh,
Yes, Frank?
One more. Since the big line item that jumped up was police, fire, and ambulance, and have the selectmen had a meeting with Wakefield? Do we have new data as to why that increase happened?
The new municipal spreadsheet shows that. There were items on there, retirement funds for the employees that were never on there before. That was a significant increase. In addition to that, there was regular increases in the cost of service.
Not a specific one big jump, but it looked like ambulance jumped.
Three full-time employees.
Okay.
Raised them about $300,000.
And they did that without asking us, or they just did that and they assumed we're gonna pick up the bill?
That's our portion of the bill.
Yeah.
I met with Collins, when was that? In June, July, right after that report came out. And we went through it and told her what our concerns were. And she, at that time, expressed her concerns that she had from Todd Nason that they can't get staffing during the day. It's a volunteer organization or a coal organization. They can't get people during the day, and she said they might have to add 3 people. Now, my comment was, well, that should only be for half the year because your town has to approve it, right? It's only, if you approve it, it starts in June maybe. I don't know if they
got the approval, whether they're on roll, I don't know where they stand, but they can't get coverage. So we should thank them for the increase, because they're looking out for us and them. There's no coverage.
Increase in coverage, not increase of bill.
Well, they have to do it. I mean, we have to pay our fair share. So that explains it.
I'd like a copy, I'd like to request a copy of the corrected spreadsheet also, because the one that was handed out last week had errors in it.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments? We're going to do some bills, do some mail. We have to read the bills. The only mail we have is from the Department of Commerce saying that we're going to be doing a census in 2020. And the time for registration for training has lapsed.
You know, we read the bills.
Yes, let's read the bills.
Governor Wentworth Regional School District, January bill, our share is,
I wrote it on top.
yeah, here we go, 91,167. Eversource, wow, is that everything the whole bill? Yeah, that's it, $262.95. The secondary Eversource bill for the other buildings, $67.70. Quarter Office Machines Corporation for our copying services, $68.57. 10 Construction, $4,660.50. White Mountain Oil and Propane, $83.
What's that for?
That was for the repair to the furnace. There was a sparker wire shorted out.
Yep.
White Mountain Oil Propane, this is for propane delivery, $335.42
Yeah, $1.40 something.
at $1.49.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor? The generator folks came in and looked at it, they spent many hours on it. When they were all done running their diagnostics and taking it apart, it now operates correctly, which is scary, which means there's something, a loose wire, if you will, right? And when they were in there messing with it, they got it to work, but they didn't do anything that actually fixed it. So right now, it's working, it worked today on our power failure. We just have to watch it.
That's a break, because he was saying that that thing was dead.
Well, he was talking, he said he would give us prices. The one module was $500, the other module was $200, and it was labor. And he lives in town, he says, let me keep going, let me see if I can't get this sucker to work. So it's running now.
Do we know when we did that? I don't know when we did.
He says 10 years ago. That's the ball, about 10 years.
What's the average life of a generator of that type?
10 years.
9.
We don't know, huh? That's the beauty of it.
It depends on how much it runs and how well you maintain it and whatnot, right? 'Cause
Well, we
it's
try to take care of it, right?
Probably the factor is how much it does not run. It just
Yeah.
sits there on standby.
Well, it does a weekly?
Wednesday morning.
Like a weekly cycle.
Short one weekly, and then monthly, that's a longer
A
one.
longer one, right?
The open issue that I still have, guys, and I didn't follow through, is the plumber hasn't come next door to find out about our leak. I want to try to propose to him that he deactivate the shower. If he can, I don't know how he can do it. The pipe's froze in the wall between the buildings. It's not insulated between the two buildings where they came together. So we lost to the sink in the bathroom, we lost the hot and cold water.
And the one with the shower, not the little.
And to the shower. And to the kitchen, but not to the toilet. I'm sorry, and not to the cold water at the sink. So, all right, so we thawed out, it's all PEX, thawed out, and the trap froze. The trap in the shower is below the insulator, that froze. So when the shower thawed out, I saw the shower overflow, right? And I assumed it was the frozen trap. I did something. I turn the water off, do something. Subsequently, the tap thawed, and water continued to flow into the heater of the boiler room, the back boiler room. So I suspect the plumber has looked at it, the brass fitting on the shower control, the only brass we have in there, froze.
Correct.
Yeah, so I don't know how we fix it. So I gotta get the plumber in to look, because right now the hot water's turned off.
Yeah.
We can turn it off for Saturday, we're gonna have a leak in behind the shower. It drains into the cellar. And then we can run hot water for the coffee. But I have to get the plumber to come back.
So no hot water anywhere.
Right now, we open the valves, plug the heater in, we'll have hot water everywhere, and it will leak behind the shower. Not a major leak, it's not like a gusher.
Right.
It's more like a drip. So,
And that trip makes it into the facility room?
no, it makes it into the boiler room. It's
Boiler, yeah.
right through that one wall.
Yeah.
Should have never put that plumbing in that dead space. Should have put it in the attic, in the ceiling, the drop ceiling. So, that's gonna be, he wanted to know if he could get to it through the back wall, that's through the break room. Can't get through it that way. So, I don't know how we're gonna deal with it. All right, I wanna sign these, we're gonna sign these. We're done with the mail, we're done with, no, okay. Is there anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Okay, meeting's adjourned, thank you. Oh, I should say, that spreadsheet that Nord just sent out, you might want to take a look at that to make sure it lines up with
Really
our
hard.
warrant.
No, coming up the street.
He did a real nice
He's
job
nice.
organizing it.